Hello and welcome to the game. New York Gridlock against Columbus Pride. Sorry for the delay in getting the stream up here. We had some technical difficulties on the audio end, but we are here out in Dyker Heights, South Brooklyn, New York City to see your New York Gridlock against the Columbus Pride.
Yeah, welcome back, Juleon. Yeah, Juleon and myself both were commentating last week, and it's a pleasure to be able to do so again.
So the Gridlock started off the game with 2 breaks, before the audio cut in. So we have Columbus on their third 0 point of the game.
And another turn. We have Douglas picking up the disc and immediately putting it deep to Wong, who does not come down with it, and save by Christy Kelly. Not quite, not quite. His turn. We have Columbus attacking again on O. Looking downfield, and it's up.
Oh!
Not quite received there. That was a huck by number 5, Sophia Knowles, with number 83, Zoe Hecht, as the intended receiver. Let's see if Pride can get this back. Here we go. It's Tulsa looking downfield. Defense is not allowing the open cuts. We have LD with the disc. Finds Lauren. Looking upfield. And intercepted by Pride. Layout to save the dump there, and the disc is up. A little too far in the end zone. It's looking a little hectic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit like the first Gridlock game. Maybe it takes the players a second to settle in, and this is only the second professional women's ultimate game being played, and I'm sure the players are, there are some first game jitters still that need to be shaken out.
Absolutely. Gridlock with the disc. Veronica Colgue-Spolaris looks upfield to Wei Gao. It's a great upline throw to LD. Power position, but not quite open downfield. She finds Wong underneath. Looking upfield, finds Colgue-Spolaris again. It's good to see this quick movement. It's something we've been focusing on practice.
The flow up the field has looked great for Gridlock. They're kind of getting all the around breaks they want, moving really well up the break side as well.
Oh, and a turn here. Colgue-Spolaris to Douglas. The disc is up. Columbus put it immediately. Okay, so I didn't quite come down with that D. Columbus looks to swing to the break there. They have their quick movement to answer. They're on the end zone line here. Looking for something open downfield. They have 2 people on the break side. Nice open break side throw for a score. It was number 5, Sophia Knowles.
Sophie Knowles and Zoe Hecht did a lot of moving the disc downfield. They look like they might be Pride's players to watch early on in this game.
Definitely.
And that was really a big hold for them. Gridlock rattled off a couple of breaks to start off. It was great to stem that tide early, get your D-line on the field, give your O-line a chance to rest, and see if they can put a couple breaks on the board themselves.
Yeah, that was really good to see. During practice this week, we didn't focus, a big focus was on quick movement and moving the disc efficiently. And you could see in that kind of offensive flow, especially towards the end zone there for Gridlock before the turn, they were doing a lot better job of that than the first part of that point. So hopefully you can see that continue here.
So now we get a look at the Gridlock O-line for the first time this game. We have seen a couple of these players on D point before, but it'll be great to see them play together to open up.
Tucker picks up the disc, swings immediately to Kaplan. She looks downfield, has Highland wide open, who puts it immediately. Sees Jarvis going deep. Jarvis is running onto it. Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Absolutely incredible put by Kelly Beezus Highland. Sat perfectly in the end zone for, I believe that was Judy Jarvis, to run onto it.
That's correct.
And that offensive flow. Tucker up to Brittany, Kaplan, B-Cap. A couple of hard fakes, finds Beezus in the lane, and then a rip deep. They made it look easy, Hayley.
Well, you know what? Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you execute on the plays you worked on in practice, and that's what just happened right there. So that was one thing we worked on this week, on those isolations and getting under, having multiple cuts in the isolation space from a side stack. So it was exciting to see that work.
So given that there hasn't been still, even at this point, a ton of practice for all the players to come together, how many of those set plays to open up an O point have you all worked on so far?
Not many. That was one of the few. I mean, there's maybe 4 things that we've worked on as like a set play. Eileen's very much about system. She wants to have like resources on like a structure for people to work in within the handler movement, within the downfield movement. Not so much set plays, but that is one of them, is trying to open up space off a side stack in an isolation. So
That was a perfect example right there in that point.
It's pretty nice. I have to say, this week at practice, I believe it was 100% attended by rostered players, and we had 4 practice players there as well. People are committed to this. It's a lot to make it to a weeknight practice in Brooklyn when you live in Philly or Albany, or even when you live in Harlem. So yeah, it was a pretty exciting practice this week, even if the weather was misting the entire time. We have Columbus with the disc, looking to work it in a small space here. Looks like the D-line is also working on some of their strategies from practice. Columbus is moving the disc quickly.
And Hayley, what type of is this a zone? Is this sort of a junk look? What would you call it?
I would call it more of a junk look. It's kind of a clam type defense. It's not quite a zone, but people do have kind of areas before they take on a match. So it's definitely a little bit different than the teams would see. But it looks like Columbus didn't have trouble yet with it. So they're swinging the disc, looking downfield for someone to be open. Knowles again with the disc. Looking to find Pruitt up the line, but not quite. And it's a break swing for a turn.
That's a tough drop after a really nice O point.
That was. Tulsa picks it up, immediately finds Zhao. Looking downfield. Swings it back to Tulsa. Finds DeSabato, who looks for Beezus. Kelly Highland, who again puts it to wide open people in the end zone. See Christy Kelly. Oh, not quite. Not quite. I jinxed it. It's a great D there from the Columbus Pride.
I believe that was number 6, Corinne Pruitt, with the D in the deep space.
Pride answers with the midfield huck of their own.
Let's see if they can replicate that handler movement that they had before the turn. Just finding the soft spots in the junk, being really patient, working side to side, moving the disc up the field quite well.
Seems to be this person, some of them are like, they have like a set handler movement that they're looking for. She didn't really look upfield very much there, and so it's interesting to try and figure out what they're doing here on offense. They're moving it a lot, and the handlers, and looking for those open players downfield. There have been a few drops. So one thing, talking to the coach, Ben Sever, before this game is, they've actually only had 1 practice, Columbus Pride, this season. The disc is up. Douglas throws to Zhao in the end zone for a score.
And that's more of the same that we've seen from New York Gridlock, at least in the last game, in the first game of the season. Tulsa Douglas marshaling the offense, finding a couple of very reliable targets, often in Zhao and Highland, in the underspace, in the deep space. The Gridlock players have really had an excellent job matching up so far this season.
Absolutely. Her Tulsa Douglas, her field vision is very impressive and inspirational to watch there. Like I was saying before, I was able to talk to Ben Sever before this, and they've actually had 1 practice for 2 hours. That was when the players committed to the team, and then they've had 1 game, which they did win against Nashville last weekend. So one of his challenges, he said, though, was that this line, this roster that he brought here, is a lot different than that roster was. They have actually several players out for Ohio State graduation. Their team is mostly made up of previous Ohio State Fever players and current Ohio State Fever players, and then players from Columbus and Oberlin and a few other places. So he said that it's definitely a different team this weekend than last weekend, and he was really excited to see the matchup. So.
But that the loss of those current Fever players is definitely going to take a hit, because that team is really doing quite well in the college division. Looks like a potential semis team, Women's College Nationals.
Oh, and a D here by Trisha Smith. Tagliolini picks up the disc, swings to Gal, finds Woods deep, and wow, great throw to Colgate Suarez, Veronica Colgate Suarez. The vision Lauren had there, Lauren Woods, seeing Veronica there and having that trust was, wow, I'm impressed there.
And there you're seeing a little bit of chemistry from players who have played together previously on New York's club team Bent. I believe K-Spot and Lauren have played on it for a year, last year, and you can see the chemistry they built up all over the course of that season on that play right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Also recent chemistry. Both played with Bent at TEP this past month in Columbia. So there's a lot of building there. There's actually 4 or 5 players on this team that played together there. So yeah.
And those early season reps can really do a lot. You know, when you build up a lot of chemistry, especially, you know, in a team like this where players are coming from all over and there are pods of players that have played together before, it really does shine when you get those moments where you play a 1-2 with a player that you've been the 1 or the 2 with before.
Yeah, I have to say that was a connection that happened a fair amount at TEP. So
I have to say I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Well, actually, usually it is Lauren that is the target of the throw.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm really excited to see that out of Lauren over the course of the season. She's been a really strong defender for Bent in the past year. Had that incredible highlight against the All-Stars that came to New York last summer. But I do think that she's about to take a big step up in her throwing game, and you saw a great example right there.
Absolutely. Okay, now we have Gridlock up, 5-1. They're pulling again to Columbus. Let's see what Columbus O-line can do here.
And it looks like they've really been running a lot through Knowles in the middle, letting her work with the disc, find those soft spots, hit the tougher throws. Let's see if she can, you know, pull a couple of those other players and get some consistency all the way into the end zone.
And the disc is up. It's inbounds. Columbus is going to pick it up on the sideline. Looking downfield. Oh, and a break around, and oh!
And you hear a big cheer from the crowd. That's Martha Gregory, also a recent player, a longtime player for New York Bent, living out in Ohio right now and playing for the Pride this PUL season.
And the disc was up, but not completed. Yeah, you can hear the crowd has gotten much louder. People have been filling in, of course, on Ultimate Time, a couple points into the game. And yes, you can hear that Martha is indeed a fan favorite here from her time spent in New York. That was a great layup.
It was.
Okay, DeSabato with the disc, looking, finds Tulsa up line, but throws a little far, intercepted by Columbus. Number 31, Sharon Yee. The disc is up, finds a player in the middle of the end zone. And
a bit of a subdued cheer from the crowd. People aren't quite sure. Martha threw the goal, so people are excited, but the hometown crowd not quite stoked that the Pride finally put an 0-point in.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, they took advantage of that turn.
Absolutely.
Very succinctly. I mean, she put that right to her player who was open there on the break side. She was able to get that throw off. It's really impressive. I do see a lot of quick movement from them when they do have the disc, which there have been some drops, but of course that can improve throughout a game, as we saw last week with both teams. So, you know, I'm excited to see them kind of execute these things and, you know, be a little ruthless going forward.
Absolutely. Once they settle in, I have no doubt that the Pride have a couple of runs in them. Let's see if they can get one started right now.
Yeah.
Get a break right here against this really strong Gridlock O-line that in the second half of last week's game locked it in and kind of shut out the Indy Red.
Absolutely. Okay, Tucker picking up the disc. Oh, it seems to be a call on the pull there. Might have been offsides.
Looks like we have LD taking the disc, tapping it in from that offsides call. Up to Judy Jarvis. Finds Kelly Highland.
And she puts it up. Oh. Knocked away by the Pride defender.
That was a beautiful blade to space, but a little bit of a tough grab and really tight defense right as the Gridlock player was trying to catch in the end zone.
That was number 32, Christina Labasi, who got that D there. Oh. It's a quick turnover there from Columbus. A little bit of an overthrow. Scooped up by Kaplan. Working it with Tucker right now. Swing to LD to reset. Finds Highland open. Not quite in.
That's beautiful use of the break side right there by LD.
Highland resets back to Kaplan. Finds Jarvis. He's looking upfield. Oh.
Wow.
And low throw there from Jarvis.
It might have been a foot block. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Didn't have a good angle on it from here.
His upline throw, leading throw there. From the Pride, who puts it deep.
Oh.
And a bid attempt there by number 83, Zoe Hecht.
And Zoe Hecht has been doing a lot of work downfield. Has made some very athletic plays so far. I'm excited to see her start to come down with a few of those.
Okay, Gridlock picking up the disc again. Tucker starts with it.
And as the horn went off, this is the last possession of the quarter.
Jarvis finds Dobkin upfield. Finds Linda Morris, who puts it up to Highland. Oh, and that disc dropped fast. Highland was in line to receive that, but as you can see, that I don't know if that was in the video, but the disc did drop quite quickly. So
that's a great example of the look that you want. You know, you have a great thrower, Kelly Highland in space. You put it a little bit over the back shoulder into the center of the end zone. The wind took it a couple of yards too far, but Coach Eileen Murray can't be too unhappy with that look.
Right. Yeah, and that was the end of the quarter, and the end of the first quarter. Possession is called, and so you have to finish the last possession, not the last point. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we haven't really talked about the weather yet, have we? Informed people on the stream of what's going on here in Brooklyn.
That should give you a sense of how it is. It's actually turned into a beautiful day. It was a little cloudy earlier. The clouds might have returned, as you see on the stream, but it's not too bad out there on the field. The wind has picked up since a little bit earlier in the day when the players might have been warming up, but certainly thrower's wind, I'd say.
Yeah, I feel like seeing that disc drop so drastically, you can see there is some effect from wind here, but yeah, it's not too bad. Not as bad as last week, I would say. Not as affecting of the game. And it's pretty nice. It feels nice out. It's probably like below 60s. And most people today, if they were at tryouts and stuff, it turned out to be a nice day after raining all morning. So
it's been a tough spring for New York City Ultimate. The rainy weather seems to always show up on Thursday or Friday and last until about Sunday, right when folks are trying to get their tryouts in.
Yeah, even for Gridlock practice, like Wednesday night, it was not supposed to rain as of the entire day when we were checking the weather, and then it was misting and muddy the entire time.
Let's give it up for the Valhalla Middle School Evolution Youth Ultimate Frisbee Team. They came out to support Gridlock today.
Do we read? Okay, welcome streaming fans. So we just went live again, if you're tuning in right now. The rest of the commentary for the beginning of the game will be uploaded later on, but welcome to our live stream right now. My name's Hayley Manning. I'm a practice player with Gridlock, and my co-commentator is Juleon Robinson, who is the captain of Blueprint, a team here in Brooklyn. How are you doing today, Juleon?
I'm doing quite well. I had a great tryout this morning. The weather cleared right up. Had a nice sunny afternoon, and then it came down here for the Gridlock game.
Yeah. So Gridlock right now is up 5 points to 2 on Columbus Pride.
Started off the game with a couple of breaks in a row, I believe 3 in a row before Pride punched in their first hold. And now we see the Gridlock O-line back out here.
We have Tulsa with the disc starting in the middle of the field after the pull went out of bounds.
Looks like a diamond play right out of this host act.
Yeah, finds DeSabato up line. Oh, and a misthrow to Wong for a turn here.
You know, it's really nice to put Cassie Wong, you know, to have her on an O-line point to play really strong defense if you need, but...
Oh, wow. Interception by Anastasia Tangerlini. Morse with the disc, looking to put it to Stasi. And defender gets a hand on that. Number 2, Libby Lehman.
That's great dump defense by Stasi in the backfield.
Looks like she was just waiting for that.
It's great deep defense by Lehman in the end zone.
Yeah. We have Pride looking to move the disc. So far just within the handlers. Finding a player downfield. There's no one open downfield. She's looking again to move it within the handlers.
And something that really impressed me last week and continues to impress me this week is the tenacity of the defense for this Gridlock O-line. They are not giving up any easy throws.
And a turn from Ohio.
Here we go, Gridlock!
They had to work really hard just to move it side to side, couldn't gain any yards, and eventually turnover happened.
Tulsa picks up the disc. It finds Morris at downfield, who comes down with it.
Great D, though.
Yeah, that defender was almost there. Swinging to DeSabato. Finds Tangerlini and sees Wong upfield, but throws over. It was an attempt by Douglas to save that disc.
And she
But out of bounds.
Up
She got
to
up.
try to save that
Yep.
disc, too. A pretty amazing play.
It's a great attempt, yes.
Unfortunately, it's out the back of the end zone.
We have Columbus trying to work it again from their end zone, from the back of the end zone.
Looks like they're also running a host stack. And of note, Knowles is not on the field at this point. Has been quarterbacking a lot of the Pride offense on both lines, but taking a point off, it looks like right here.
So looks like there's a call, possibly a foul. I did not see the hand symbols for that. Pride, Martha, Gregory putting it up to a player downfield, not quite received.
And a really massive throw to a cutter that had the steps. As you can see, this wind, it has picked up a bit, and it carried a bit too far downwind.
We have Gridlock again, picking up the disc to Sabato, and there's a call downfield.
And you can expect that from Martha. I mean, she's got massive throws like that, and I'm sure that Pride is happy to have those on for these D points when you're trying to put in breaks.
I believe a timeout was called.
And Hayley, there are a couple of different rules in PUL as folks may be familiar with in USAU rules. Can you explain a little bit about the timeout rules and how those might be different?
Yes, so for the timeouts, New York called the timeout there. So the team can only call the timeout when they have possession of the disc. It can either be a coach on the sideline or a designated person who's pre-designated to the observers, or the player with the disc can call the timeout as well. When you call a timeout, you have 50 seconds as that team to discuss and get set up, and then the other team has 20 more seconds to set up their defense. And you can sub out as many players as you want on either team when there's a timeout called. So it's really strategic, especially like there's been a couple turns in this point, so it's strategic on New York's part to call a timeout, be able to sub a full line, and have fresh legs for that. And you get 2 timeouts per half. So definitely strategic to use it.
We're at about 8.5 minutes left in this second quarter.
And the disc, Tucker throws to find Jarvis on the sideline, but a little far, and also the defender was in the way.
I believe a foul was called on the throw.
Oh, okay.
It explains why that around like popped up in the air a little bit, and Tucker didn't seem too worried about it. Not as much as the crowd was anyways.
Yeah, Tucker's the disc back. Finds Jarvis, again this time, downfield on the open side. Looking downfield.
That was a great cut by Jarvis.
Swings to Kaplan. Finds LP, Lauren Pointek, downfield. This is her first game with Gridlock. Sees Kaplan up the line. Swing to Tucker. Finds LD for a little bit of a gain there, and she puts it downfield to Jarvis.
And another massive cut by Jarvis into the lane, using that space so well.
Ooh, a great grab by Kaplan. That was a throw a little over her head.
Judy Jarvis on this point just working incredibly hard.
Yeah.
You know, finding the four-side space, taking her match deep, and then finding that break side space, reading the flow of the offense well, and tracking the disc as it swung across the field to get a massive gainer too.
Yeah, it's exciting to see. I'm sure all of her players on Jug Handle, the mixed team she's a coach for, are excited to watch this. Jarvis puts it up to Dobkin, deep, not quite in the end zone. She's looking downfield and finds Lauren Pointek for a score.
And that throw by Jarvis up there to, I believe it was number 5, Lindsay McKenna. I think it was number
5, Lindsay McKenna.
And that was a perfect throw upwind. I think we've seen a couple of these hucks going downwind, sail a bit too far. But Gridlock going in the upwind direction this half. Had that one sit nicely. McKenna grabbed it and then put it in easy to Pointek.
Water by the merchandise is free and all for you. These refreshments are brought to you by the generosity of Poland Spring. Stay hydrated.
And it does look like the Gridlock O-line getting it done. A little bit of a danger for a break right there, but keeping it solid, keeping a clean sheet so far this game.
Yeah, absolutely. They were really patient with the motion with the handlers over here on the far half of the field when they were attacking. And then, you know, they were patient looking for that throw that would open up, and they had a good, like, 20-yard gainer to Jarvis, and then that opened it up for more yards gained. Columbus picking up the disc. Gregory with the disc. Gregory back with the disc. Some quick movement here in their handlers.
Guarded by her club teammate, Stasi Tangerlini.
I believe there was a travel called. Columbus finding players open, moving the disc and putting it deep.
Great catch.
Not quite in. And a score for Columbus.
And that was a quick score, just what the Pride needed. Find a little momentum, get the energy up. They're excited on the field right there. That was a big layout catch and an easy flip into the end zone.
Gridlock leads Columbus 6-3.
All right, and just confirmed who the assist was Corin Pruitt to Mary Turner, number 6 to number 22. It's a little hard to see the Columbus numbers. They're multicolored, so.
But I will say their jerseys are incredibly rad. If you are a fan watching these players do some baller things on the field right now, I know you can go cop jerseys online from the VC Ultimate Premier Ultimate League site. And from what I've seen so far, the PUL jerseys have some incredible design work. They're some of the coolest Ultimate jerseys I've seen. Definitely worth a look if you're a fan of any of these teams out here.
Absolutely. Gridlock receiving the disc here in the O-line. Tucker finds Morris upfield.
Are they running a bit of a side stack here, or?
They should be. Yeah, again, you're seeing this side stack with an isolation kind of cut. Just something that was seen in the first half as well, or the first quarter. LD with the disc. Swings to Tucker. Kaplan is open for a swing as well. Swinging downfield, and she puts it. Sees LP Lauren Pointek going deep in just a little far. It's a great attempt layout there by Lauren Pointek.
If you're a cutter, though, you love to see your handler have the faith in you to put that up. And if you're a handler, you love to see your cutter put their body on the line a bit with a great bid by LP to try to go get that one. I'm sure they'll connect on that one a little bit later on in the season.
We have Ohio puts it again. This is something they've been doing right off of turnovers here, with Knowles catching it again deep. Knowles with the disc. Looking downfield, finds a player open on the open side, and open player in the end zone, score for Columbus.
And that's the first break of the game for the Pride, and
It is.
just like we said after that quick O point, a momentum might start to build. It's the first test Gridlock has had, their O-line has had, and
Columbus goal scored by
Pride did an amazing job moving it down the field.
Yeah, again, that was quick movement, and again, punishing on a turnover there. You know, they're not messing around when they get these turnovers, when they generate these turnovers.
That's a tough thing for an O-line. You play really good offense, you move the disc up the field really well, and you have a turnover on a look that you like, a pretty good throw and a great effort by LP. And it's tough then to flip the switch and say, okay, we have to lock in on defense, we have to get it back.
Agreed.
Especially when the team you're playing, like the Pride, has the players to move it up the field quickly.
Okay, we have Columbus pulling again to the Gridlock O-line, probably hungry for another break. Let's see how Gridlock O can adjust their game here. So yeah, as you pointed out, Juleon, they were running a bit of a side stack there. 3 handlers out, sometimes 2 handlers with someone at the front of the stack. But yeah, they're working on those isolations there, but looks like Columbus might have figured some of that out.
And again, more of what we saw last week where Gridlock gets broken, Tulsa Douglas crosses over and takes on center handling duties.
Douglas with the disc to start.
Coming out of a host stack to start
Looking
off
to
this
swing
point.
it. Oh, and a miss throw upfield to trying to find Stasi up line.
A lot of pressure from this Pride defense.
And again, Columbus puts it up, but not quite. There's a lot of traffic downfield there for that one.
And they have been going, in this line in particular, downwind for most of this game. So going upwind might need to make some tweaks to some adjustments to the throws.
Gridlock moves it a little bit within the handlers before finding someone downfield.
It's a great find.
Dobkin downfield, and she puts it up, hoping that Morse can run onto it, but not quite.
And then we saw the same thing going the other way. So used to throwing one direction that start moving the other way, don't realize that the wind is going to push that one a little too far. I think both teams now got to have a bit of sense of it now.
Absolutely. Columbus moves it up the line. Looking to swing. And a wide break throw to gain yards there. Number 21, Mallory Griffith, that cut. You have Gregory and Lehman working the disc backfield. And again, finding Mallory Griffith. Looks off a dump cut. She sees something downfield there. Open player. And again, a great find downfield. Even under pressure, Fleming was able to stay chill there and get the disc off, but this next throw not quite. And there's contact on the play.
And it does look like, as we have a call, the Pride have found their rhythm. This D-line
Yeah.
on the doorstep to punching in another break.
Some Gregory with the disc. And a throw to Lehman downfield for a score. Looked like there was a foul called there on the line. It was a very quick discussion. It looked like there was no contest there. And the disc was given to Martha right away, and she put that in.
Martha Gregory. The score is now Gridlock 6, Columbus.
And the game started off, Gridlock rattled off a couple of breaks to get the game started. The O-line, when they first came on, you know, had a bit of a cushion, could play that comfort. Now it's a little tighter. The Pride found their footing. Their O-line punched in a great quick point. Their D-line really finding their rhythm on offense, and they've been moving it up the field quite well. And now they're getting the execution they need to punch in these breaks. And the game is tightened. It's now 6-5. Gridlock's still ahead, but being broken twice in a row. Let's see how they respond.
Like you mentioned before, you talked a little bit about how Douglas last game played both sides of the disc a lot. There's some stats from the last game showing us that Douglas was actually the leader with playing time. She played 45 minutes, played 4 O points and 13 D points. So,
Folks, as a reminder, while there is a clock going, when the quarter or half comes to an end, the team in possession of the disc will play out the possession until they score or there is a turnover. After that quarter is over.
So the end of this quarter, our on-field announcer is explaining right now that the way it works for the second quarter of the game, when the time is run up, then it's the finishing that possession. So it's not, the game goes until the play stops. Sorry, excuse me. The play stops once that possession is over. So if there's a score over or a turnover. With 2 minutes and 23 seconds until the end of the quarter. We have Columbus pulling again to the Gridlock O-line. The pull is out of bounds. I feel like the last few of the Pride's pulls have gone out of bounds. Yeah, maybe they aren't adjusting quite in this direction for the wind here. To Sabato with the disc, finds Highland upfield. To Zhao, just looking upfield. Wong has the disc and puts it to Morse. A quick score by Gridlock right there.
And that's exactly what the Gridlock needed.
Definitely.
A point where you just move right up the 4 side. The Cutters looked like they got the space they wanted. They hit the space they wanted. And that is how you stop a string of breaks right there. You put it in quick and easy.
Yeah, that was great to see such efficient movement by the O-line. Because, again, that was one of the main focuses of the last practice, was making sure that people are throwing to the open person. And people were open there, so.
And the only way that works is if these Cutters have the timing such that they're coming out of their break right as the Cutter ahead of them is catching it. There was a lot of cutter-to-cutter flow on that point, which is, to me, a little bit wild because a lot of these players have never played together before. You know, they're coming together for the first time, so to have that timing down already is really amazing to watch. Putting on a show for this crowd tonight.
They better. These fans will, eat them up if they don't. It's a really good crowd right now. You can hear a lot of crowd action and chanting, and again, wonderful signs. So I'm sure you can check the Instagram later on for some of this game's signage as well.
And it's not just the hometown crowd here from New York, but folks are coming up from Philly.
Yep.
Folks are coming down from Boston. Folks are coming up from Jersey. It's really a big regional party in the stands here tonight.
Thank you. Gridlock goal scored by number 21, Linda Morse, with the assist from number 71, Cassie Wong.
Oh, and we have a miss throw here from the Pride. Gridlock gets the disc. It's a swing to Gao. She runs onto it. Looking downfield. Finds DeSabato. Sees Tangerlini, who puts it immediately. Sees Trisha Smith, who bobbles it and catches it. Great. So it's a great score by Gridlock there. can only imagine what was going through Trisha's mind there. But she was able to maintain that possession and score for Gridlock.
And just like that, Gridlock back up by 4, I believe.
Yep, this is her first game with Gridlock as well.
Goal scored by number 10, Trisha Smith.
And
With the assist from number 4, Stasi Tangerly.
something I love watching about Ultimate is how it, on some level, it is a game of momentum. And as you, it's a game of ebbs and flows, and one team will, go on a run, and then the other team has to stop that flow and go on a run back to get back in it. We're having a case of that tonight, and it's really made for an exciting game.
Definitely.
New York City Ultimate.
It's always funny how much you can drill and have structure, but it does really depend on what feels in the moment like it's going to work.
All right, with a minute left in this quarter, in this half, let's see if the Pride can put at least a hold back on the board to stay in pretty close by as we go into the halftime.
And Gridlock with the pull. Columbus picks it up, finds a player downfield open. We have Knowles putting the disc deep. Looking for Zoe Hecht. Not quite received.
That's a combo that we have seen a lot. It looks like a pair that likes throwing and catching from each other in Knowles and Hecht. And they've completed quite a few. I expect they'll complete quite more over the course of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Tulsa Douglas with the disc. A bit of messy movement there. Oh, and fumble by Dobkin, but she maintains. Sorry, Abby Newsom maintains the disc. There's a turn by Gridlock. Columbus gets another chance. Let's see if they can put this one in.
So the quarter has ended.
I believe the quarter's ended, but I believe somebody called a timeout right before the quarter ended.
So this will be the last possession, and Columbus will be able to put on any 7 they want, I believe, to finish out this quarter.
Okay, yeah, and the timeout was called by Columbus. Ooh, what do you think they're going to do here?
So they're about, what is it, a little under 20 yards out. I think from this far out, I would want to run a dominator. They have a couple of players who have done a great job being around the disc. They've had a lot of good handler movement moving up the field. I imagine they'll want to use that dominator into the end zone, maybe isolate their best cutter to space.
Yeah.
But I imagine they'll want to ride some of their better throwers to get this break before the half ends.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the sideline there, oftentimes a good strategy is to try and swing it first. But they're not directly on the sideline, so there's some space to work with.
And I apologize. I do believe this is a hold for Columbus Pride.
Yes, this is the hold. Yeah. Here we go. We get a swing right away.
And it does look like they're running a dominator with 3 back, doing a lot of the work. Oh!
See Knowles. Oh, not quite completed. And this quarter and half are over. So we need to switch a camera out, so we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for some commercials, and we'll see you after halftime.
Yep.
Sorry about that delay right there. Coming into this third quarter, Gridlock has already put in a hold. Andrea DeSabato to Linda Morse in the end zone to open up the third quarter. Gridlock picking up where they left off.
Yep, quickly pulling that to a 4-point game now, 9-5. Gridlock up on Columbus.
The official glove of New York Gridlock is layout
This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate providing custom team uniforms. Providing custom team uniforms and Ultimate Apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com.
And it appears we are back to the video. Welcome back to South Brooklyn. Here we got some fireworks going off in the background. New York City at its finest tonight. A lovely Saturday night in May.
Here we go, Columbus pulling amid the fireworks. I mean, Gridlock pulling amid the fireworks. Columbus picks up the disc, looks downfield. So stifling defense there on the dumps by Gridlock, and a turn is forced. DeSabato picks up the disc. He's looking for 20 yards there to Zhao, who puts it deep immediately to Lindsay McKenna. Looking downfield, turns to dump the disc. Oh, and finds Zhao open.
Wow.
There's a call here on the play.
As they figure this call out, I just want to go back and talk a little bit about that throw from Amy Zhao. Putting it with such touch into such space. McKenna looked over the wrong shoulder, had time to look over the right shoulder and make a clap catch on the goal line.
Absolutely. And she finds Douglas up the line for the score. It's McKenna's first game with Gridlock as well. She was playing at college regionals last weekend, so with Westchester.
Gridlock goal scored by number 14, Tulsa Douglas, with assist from number 5, Lindsay McKenna.
And when you can put players like Amy Zhao, Tulsa Douglas on your D-line, it really makes it hard for the other team's offense to stop that D-line from scoring breaks. I mean, they're some of the better players in the women's club division in USAU right now, and to have them on the, sort of running the defense must be something to watch and something to play against in practice, right, Hayley?
Absolutely. It's tough. It's really humbling to have such talented teammates. It looks like Veronica Collegis-Polaris is going to be pulling again. We saw a couple of flick pulls from her last week that had some pretty nice roll in the wind, so let's see if that repeats again. This D-line's probably ready to go after scoring that point.
And again, the wind not too bad right now, but Gridlock will be going downwind. The Pride with a bit of an upwind O point.
Look at that roll. Columbus picks up the disc. Looking downfield. Not quite open there with some poaching handler defense. And a swing throw went a little over and wide. Turnover. We have Tingerlini with the disc. Looking to move it immediately. LD's not open up line. And she looks and finds Wong downfield for a score.
Cassie Wong, a highlight factory. Layout Ds, layout grabs in there with the sky in the end zone. Amazing elevation over her match right there.
Absolutely, and you could see there, LD made a cut up the line. Was guarded up line, made a cut back to try, and she was open under in that small break space, which we know Stasi has, but she was locked in. She saw Wong going and was looking for that, and absolutely has that throw as well. So that was exciting to see that chemistry there.
And that's that roommate connection. A lot of trust. A lot of trust. And Gridlock has come out of halftime absolutely firing. Their D-line on point, playing really stifling dump defense, and on some level, that's what you need to do. Your downfield defenders play hard for 3, 4, 5 seconds, and if your dump defenders can play hard for 3, 4, 5 seconds, you force a tough throw or you get a D. And that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I think both times that Columbus had the disc there, the first look, the first reset was just absolutely not open. I mean, this very strong defense there on the marks. And a pull goes out of bounds early from Gridlock there. Let's see if Pride can take advantage of this.
This might be what they need to get a run going back the other way, find a little bit of momentum here.
Number 24, Stevie Miller, picking up the disc. It went out of bounds, so when a pull goes out of bounds in Ultimate, you can take that disc to the center of the field where it went out of bounds. And first throw is a break. It's number 6, Corin Pruitt.
And right off of that deck disc, as they tapped it in, you saw Gregory, number 41, clear out and around Stevie Miller with the disc to open up space for Stevie to throw that break.
Another break throw by Corin Pruitt.
And all it took was 2 around backhands for Pride to be on the board here in the second half.
Yeah. That was a really tight space and a tight catch. I was impressed by the receiver there. By number 10, Kara Sieber.
New York Gridlock leads Columbus with a score of 11-6.
And it's really tough when you're on the end zone right there as of the mark, because you're not sure, you know, if they put that inside in, they can get it towards the end zone, but the around just leads to some great flow to space as well. Right there, Pride used the around breaks to beat the Gridlock D. Crowd settling in into the second half. Mamma Mia playing over the PA. Another wonderful night to watch Ultimate.
Everyone in the box dancing. It's great. It's great. So we have Gridlock O-line receiving here.
And they're going to be going downwind. And we've actually seen more turns going downwind and having those hucks get pushed a little too far than we have going upwind. So let's see how they handle it.
LD picks up the disc, immediately finds Kaplan to gain some yards. Swing. Looks like Columbus is forcing backhand. Which I know a lot of the Gridlock players were excited about, to be able to show off their backhand hucks. So let's see. Oh, and a turn D by number 27 on Columbus, Kelsey Kuzmic. And the disc is up immediately to Kelsey, who finds it in the end zone for a score.
And that's exactly it. These hucks go in the upwind direction will sit a little bit more and allow the cutter to get under it. And right there we see Gregory boost a really nice throw, and we see the Pride with a bit of a choreographed celebration. I wonder how long they've been working on that one in practice, Hayley.
Yeah. Well, they've had one practice, so.
That's
but that was exciting. Again, you see them just ruthless on a turn there. When they generate a turn, they pick it up and move it fast.
And Gregory has really been integral to that. Again, she's got these really big throws. You saw her just boost a backhand, sort of even cross field, land right in McKenna's hands.
That's true. I feel like, Julian, you have some experience playing with Gregory as well on a team called Friend Boat.
I have. We've played on a team called Friend Boat together in the past. It's a group of New York City club players, goes to some fun tournaments around the country, and it's a great chance to play with folks, some of whom live in New York City, some of whom live in Ohio, San Francisco. It's a great crew. Love watching Martha play, love playing with her, love being on the other end of those hucks.
Here we have Columbus pulling again to Gridlock. Inbounds pull again. LD centers to Tucker. Looking downfield and finds a hole there for Linda Morse under. Oh, and a miscommunication there. It looks like there was some contact downfield.
The crowd is suggesting they might have a way to resolve this call, but they figured it out there on the field.
It looks like there is no call downfield, actually, so the disc stayed with Columbus. Looking to move it quickly. It's not all open downfield, but they find, oh, and a missed throw to Knowles. Gridlock picking up the disc again. LD looks to move it quickly to Morse.
It's a great cut by LP.
And Tucker gets it up the line and boosts it. She saw Jarvis and Highland downfield, but there was also double coverage there, so the Pride player was able to easily get that D. Pride swings. Oh, and a turn on the swing right on the end zone line. Tucker picks it up to capitalize and finds Highland for a score.
New York Gridlock goal!
That was that's a tough one if you're the Pride, playing great defense, really on some level locking down this Gridlock offense that's been turning along quite well. Play really strong D, and then just have an unfortunate execution error on your own goal line, and Gridlock punches it in.
Absolutely. Gridlock showing that they can also be ruthless when there's a turn.
Absolutely.
And they will generate a score there.
So the score's 12-7, Gridlock up right now. We did see Gridlock jump out to an early lead in this game in the first quarter, and now we're seeing them jump out to a bit of a lead in this third quarter, but as we moved into the second quarter, Pride definitely mounted a comeback. They found a bit of energy. It all started with a quick hold going the direction they're going right now, upwind. Let's see if they can get that one and then follow it up with a couple of breaks to mirror what they did in the first half.
Yeah. Moves out with the pull. Columbus picks it up. Starting to move it downfield quickly. Gridlock D kind of clamps up that space downfield for them to throw through. Handlers are having to work it.
Oh, was that a push pass? That was nice.
Moving it again between the handlers after finding 1 yard gain there under. And a hole right there in the defense. Knowles was able to find that hole there and puts the disc to her teammate downfield, but oh! A D attempt by Veronica Calagius-Flores. She got a good hand on that. As you can see, the disc was able to still float a bit, and the Pride player was able to bring it down.
And it wasn't as pretty as it was in the first half, but will that be the critical hold for Pride to figure out their offense a little bit, get their D-line on the field, most importantly, and put a couple breaks on the board?
Yeah, I believe that was number 43, Chloe Lim, with the score. I think it was Chloe Lim that scored.
The Gridlock O-line trots back on the field. They've been an incredibly successful line. They're all game their first game, in particular in the second half. The first half of this game, they played really well. They can put another one on the board. Every point they score, the more time they took off the board, the less time Pride has to really put a run on the board and get back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And this game is far from over. I mean, as we see, like, Columbus is finding a little bit of a pocket here of momentum. So let's see if they can keep this rolling. This D-line looks hungry.
Yeah, but it's
Gregory with the pull.
It's a great pull, too. Start off this point.
Tucker swings to Kaplan. He's looking downfield. Kaplan up the line.
Some big fakes.
Swinging to Tucker. Finds LD. Looking downfield to Kaplan. A reset gain there.
Kaplan, who came into this game with 100%
Kaplan looks to
completion
Jarvis.
rate.
Intercepted.
And the broadcaster's curse right there. I apologize, BCAP.
She'll forgive you, I think. Columbus picks up the disc and puts it deep.
Wow.
Oh, it was received, but not a score.
It's a great shot towards the end zone.
Looks like they're trying to set up their end zone. Looking to reset.
Really good end zone
Gregory with the
defense.
disc. Crowd is responding to every fake. And Gregory with the hammer, tipped by a player.
That throw looks like it might have been to 2 Columbus players in the end zone. One tipped it away from the other, and Gridlock has it back.
LD finds LP downfield. Highland, and the disc, Gregory with a D there.
A big block by Gregory to get it back.
Columbus looking to move it again. finds Gregory up line. And she throws to number 31. Oh, and a bid, but not completed. Cherny, number 31.
And that's more good motion from Columbus. Can't quite get it in there, squeeze it in that tough 21 space, upline space. I'll see if Pride can get another D. They've been generating a lot of pressure, which is not easy on this talented Gridlock O-line.
And timeout called by Gridlock here.
New York.
It's been several back and forth, so it definitely makes sense to call a timeout and be able to refresh your line here.
And I've only seen it in a couple of games so far this season in the PUL, but this rule where you can switch out whoever you want on a timeout, I've seen it adds like a really interesting layer of strategy to the game. As a spectator, I love watching it, and I'm sure the teams love the opportunity to put some fresh legs on the field.
Definitely.
Yeah. Hey, Cam, it's Tony.
I know it's a couple turnovers in a row, but it's exciting. Like, these Columbus players are really working hard and bidding for a lot of things. I just wonder if they can kind of calm it down a little bit and rein those in. Some of these throws are just a little bit too far or just a little bit too wide. So let's see if they can rein that in here, if they can get another D.
And credit to the Gridlock defenders, making those throws a little more difficult. You know, you put some pressure on the mark, and you push that throw a little wider, you push it a little far to the inside. It's been a great battle out here today.
LD finds Morse up line.
Big fake.
Downfield is covered.
Initiates the reset. Nice.
Tulsa with the reset there.
Ooh.
Finds DeSabato. Throws to Morse, but high throw, and Columbus D eats that up. Columbus moving the disc. It's an inside throw that was received. That was a nice throw there.
It's a great grab.
And it's up to
Sophia
first
Knowles.
scored Knowles.
And again, she's been sort of the engine of this Columbus team in the backfield, and there you saw her with that strike into the end zone.
I believe that was a bookends, actually. We do call it bookends, right? Knowles was the one who got that D as well in the air.
And as you can see on this replay, a beautiful blade into space. Finds Knowles in the back of the end zone. And that's a big break. That's the one they needed. They brought the Gridlock lead down to 3. Very much within striking distance as we move towards the end of this third quarter.
Absolutely.
Once again, when the quarter comes to an end, the team in possession of the disc will play out the possession until
Looks like Gridlock is bringing over a couple of those players that have been playing D. You've got Douglas on this line. You've got Amy Zhao on this line. Cassie Wong coming over. Linda Morse. Brittany Kaplan. Who else is out there?
It's like Sydney Dobkin as well. We have the pull by number 2, Libby Lehman.
And Lehman has also been logging a lot of minutes for this Pride team and playing quite well out there.
Kaplan picks up the disc and centers Tulsa. Douglas swings to Tangerlini. Back to Tulsa, almost a D there. Tulsa finds Dobkin downfield. He's looking, finds Zhao. And Zhao puts it. Zhao puts it right into Cassie's hands, right there.
And just like that, I was about to say the Pride has really ramped up the defensive intensity, and they absolutely have, and Gridlock found a way to match that. Zhao with a beautiful hook to Cassie Wong in the end zone.
Yeah, as you can see, Cassie Wong had double coverage there and was still able to stay cool under that pressure. And I mean, it was a perfect throw by Zhao, right into her hands.
And a big thing in not having that much practice, and especially not playing in the tournament setting, is being able to lock in on certain points. You know, when a team like Pride, who has a lot of really good players, is starting to find their groove, they get a hold, they get a break, being able to go out there, maybe putting a different crew of players out there on the field and just, you know, putting your foot down, getting the hold that you need, stem the tide, let the rest of the team know, hey, it's okay, we're going to get this hold when we need to, put the D-line back out on the field.
Absolutely. We have Lauren McKenna here with the pull for Gridlock. And the pull is inbounds. Oh, and there's an offsides. Looks like an offsides called. Okay, and the disc starting in the middle of the field since it went out of bounds. Pride looking to move the disc. Gregory up the line and puts it deep, but K-Spa is there to knock it down.
I think she wanted that one to be a little higher, maybe to the back corner.
Yeah.
Stayed more of a line drive. Nice.
We have
big gainer.
Tingerlini with a great gain to Colcagia Suarez. Finds Abby Newsom. It's Trisha Smith. McKenna. She holsters a huck to the end zone and instead swings it to Stasi. Wei Gao is wide open. Gets it under. Swings to DeSabato. Finds K-Spa, who looks for Newsom in the back of the end zone for a score.
And it really looked like that Gridlock D-line found another gear on offense. The way they were moving it horizontally, in particular with Tingerlini in the backfield, it's tough. It's tough as the defense when you're not quite sure where the disc is going to come from. And here you see K-Spa put a backhand into the end zone, seal that break.
I think I said 7 different names there. I believe that, did everyone on the O-line touch the disc in that possession?
And they very well might have. They, you know, that's perfect dump swing offense. Not doing anything crazy, not looking for, you know, even big huck looks. They just knew that they were going to find the open space on the 4 side, and if they needed to, they could work it around, and that score was a break to end the point.
I'm not sure if you saw anything on the defensive side there. I was a little confused why Wei Gao was actually wide open at one point in the underspace, and I wasn't sure if there was some kind of miscommunication there on the defense's part, if they were doing match defense. It looked like they were like match defense, but.
And that can be a hard thing to do as well on the O-line. There's a turn on the other side of the field trying to find your match quickly and get in a good positioning.
Absolutely. With Columbus picking up the disc. Oh, and a wide throw, but it was saved by Corin Pruitt. Columbus moving it backfield.
Last possession of the quarter.
And that's the quarter mark. This is the last possession of the quarter. So Gridlock needs to make sure that there is no score here. Columbus moves it quickly up the line, finds open player. He's looking downfield. Player right on the sideline here with the disc, and finds an inside throw for a score. It's number 5, Sophia Knowles, to it looks like 83, Zoe Hecht, right?
Yes. And I really like that skinny inside look on the goal line. Cutter goes hard to that cone, and as a defender, you have to respect that. And whether it's that soft inside flick or sometimes you'll see the lefty backhand, it's exciting to see.
Direct your eyes to center field, where 2 teams of fans are getting ready for
Great. So we have 2 minutes here for this quarter.
And as we enter this 4th quarter, I think we're going to hit a quick commercial break. We will see you in just a moment. welcome back to the live stream. We've got some skills challenges going on before we get this fourth quarter started. It's a great night. A lot of the community is out here. The New York City community is out here. The Philly community is out here. The Jersey community is out here. Stands are full.
There's a tuba man
Playing
the tuba.
man. What more could you ask for? You know, a wonderful game of Ultimate. All your friends. You know, got a lot of kids out here tonight. It was youth night. That was the theme of this evening, this game.
Yeah, there was actually a Girls Ultimate Movement clinic earlier, right before the game, that many of the Gridlock players hosted. And yeah, that seemed to go really well. They had about 30 young women who were participating in the clinic, and then they had there's a halftime scrimmage as well, which I think was covered by commercials. But yeah, it's been the youth night tonight, and the tuba man is the father of one of the youth players, and everyone's really into that. So
can't wait to see some of those youth players on this field, hopefully playing in the PUL in the years to come.
And a D by DeSabato. Columbus tried to move it, didn't quite make it through. Tangerlini gets the disc and throws to McKenna for the score.
Hayley, you've been using the word ruthless a lot to describe D-lines that are striking quickly off of a turn, and that was the embodiment of that right there.
I think so, yeah. That was really, really nice movement there. Very precise.
And we have seen that a bit where, and I think we've seen it a bit from both teams, where after a turn, folks have been a bit slow to flip that switch and get it back on defense. It's really tough to do, especially in a single game format when you're playing people you haven't played with a lot. Because a lot of times in those moments where you rely on chemistry, you know where people are going to be, you know how they're going to, in particular, take up space in the lane before they find their matchup. So those moments can be difficult for players who haven't played a lot together.
Absolutely. And you can see there, focusing on that huddle when Coach Murray is calling players on the field. A lot of people have jackets on, and they're getting ready to take them off as they go on. You know, it's getting a little chilly out here, so people are going on. Maybe they've been off for a few points, and they're trying to stay warm on the sidelines. But it's impressive that everyone's able to bring that energy, even if they are getting a little bit cold. So
that's a great pull. A little against the wind, too.
Probably doesn't have much chance to work it there, but they find someone up line. Looking to move the disc. Again, on the open side, on the sideline here. And there's a call downfield. A foul called. It's like a foul between Gregory and Wong.
Called on the play. Columbus will retain possession of the disc.
Columbus starting at the disc again. Some great mark defense there by Douglas. Prevent some of those backfield throws, but they find too quick movement upfield.
And someone whose name we haven't said a lot, but has really been doing a lot for this Columbus Pride team is Stevie Miller in the backfield.
Yeah, Columbus working hard to get open downfield. Gridlock making them work hard. Gregory with the disc. Looking break side. Oh, and K-Spa run through with the D. That's so hard, working it down the field and wanting to score, seeing someone open. Just execution wasn't quite there. Tulsa looking to move the disc. Finds Wei Gao up the line. Wei to Zhao.
It's a bit hectic in the middle of the field
there
right
is,
now.
yeah, this movement's a little bit, it's clogging up that open space. Tulsa Douglas with the disc.
It looks like they've cleaned it up now. Start to move it around.
Yep, centered to Stasi, the K-Spot, and throws to Zhao for the score.
And I love that switching the momentum. Zhao might have been looking for that big OI flick blade to come in around the top, and K-Spa found the IO lane.
You can see here Zhao. She was looking at her. Okay, yeah, she was looking for a flick throw, maybe a big OI like you said, but she saw Spa go down for that inside throw and was ready for it.
That's really smart by K-Spa, seeing the defender sort of also playing on that force side, makes sense, and knowing, oh, I can put it here with enough touch that Zhao will have time to turn her hips, catch it in the end zone. And it's interesting seeing some chemistry start to develop with these players, knowing what they like to do, it's in particular between throwers and cutters, knowing how they see the field, knowing how they want to attack the space, and throwing throws that will meet them where they want to be.
And it is forming. I mean, like K-Spa and Amy, they've never played together before this opportunity to play together on Gridlock, and you can see this forming in practices now. You're getting these weekly practices in that everyone's committing to, and that's where you get these chemistry kind of looks and trust from teammates.
And sometimes in these games too. I mean, I think now Zhao will be looking for that IO from K-Spa going forward.
Definitely. Everyone should always be looking for the IO from K-Spa. So we have strong defense here from Gridlock. Columbus looking to move it.
Oh, that's an amazing around throw.
That was a great break by Pride. Is a call downfield. Disc is in. And LD intercepts that disc. She was watching that. I watched her watching that. LD with the disc, and there's a pick.
LD, a very experienced player, has a great field awareness. Not surprised she found that poach block.
Yeah, definitely not. And not only is she a player and pivotal player on this team, she is also the operations director for Gridlock this year. She was able to gain some experience with that with the All-Star Tour last year, and is continuing that kind of work, doing a great job of it with Gridlock. If Zhao moves it to Spa downfield.
People know K-Spa wanted that one to go up.
Crowd wanted her to put that up, but she holstered it. Kelly with the disc. Looking downfield, puts it up to LD, who, it's just not quite received there. Disc might have been a little bit high there.
And I do wonder a bit how the crowd impacts the players on the field.
Yep.
I don't know how it would impact decision making when the whole crowd wants you to put up a big blade over the stack, but your Coach Eileen Murray might want something different from the system.
Yeah, it's definitely hard for players to change their habits a little bit. And the disc is up by Columbus, and number 27, Kelsey Kuzmic, comes down with it. Oh, and she puts it deep, but not quite connected there.
Wow, that guy was one of the best plays I've seen all night. Knowles knowing her receiver, knowing that she could put it in the air. Oh, yeah, she's going right over the top.
LD was there. She was ready to get that, but yeah, Kuzmic was able to just reach right over and bring that down.
I do think she will want that throw back. A turn in the end zone.
And Gridlock with the disc, looking to move it. This Columbus defense is contesting everything.
Great catch.
They are
Kelly.
fired up. Kelly finds Colgus Polaris, who puts the disc up. She sees Trisha Smith going downfield. Trisha catches the disc, centers to Douglas. Sorry, that was Newsom. To Sabato with the disc. Swings it to K-Spa. Looks downfield for Newsom, right on the end zone line. And moves it. It's a little bit wide, but Sabato brings it down.
A really disciplined stack right here from Gridlock. Giving her
Gal throws to uncompleted in the end zone.
I will say, though, I'm sure Coach Eileen Murray and Coach Megan Randall will be really proud of the way that their stack was really deep in the end zone, really disciplined, really together, and gave their throwers a lot of room to work. Unfortunately, a bit of a miscommunication on that throw.
Yeah. That is something else that was a focus of practice this week was our end zone offense, and that is something that they should be doing. The stack is deep and having isolation space in the front. Yeah, it just wouldn't quite work out there. Columbus puts the disc up again to number 23, and LD, there's a call. You hear the crowd's opinion on that call.
The hometown crowd has its take. You can form your own opinion there on the live stream.
Yeah, let's see a replay of that.
And another trust throw to Kuzmic.
Oh.
Observer ruling, no foul.
Yeah,
Gridlock will
it looks like a pretty
maintain
clean,
possession of the disc.
D there by LD. Looks like a timeout is called by New York.
Timeout, New York. Okay, you ready?
It's been a long point. Makes sense.
It's been a long point.
Is New York's last time out of the game though, so.
All right,
But as we head into the final chapter of this game, Gridlock is up quite a few. They have the disc. I think it behooves them to settle down, punch this one in, and trust their O-line to take them through this game. And I wouldn't be surprised if their D-line gets another couple breaks too, but for the Pride, this is a really big opportunity. They need this break if they want to get back in this game right now.
Absolutely.
This is an important turning point as we come down to 4 minutes and 21 seconds left.
And you can see they're hungry for it. I mean, they've been putting in a lot of effort these last few points on defense.
They've been getting the Ds.
They've been getting these. They've contested very closely some of the others.
It really comes down to converting those D-line breaks, and it can be tough. It can be tough, especially if you're a D-line player that in order to bring that defensive intensity, you're playing red hot. You're playing fiery. You know, you're laying out. You're thinking about your body positioning on D, and then you get the disc. And you know, we saw earlier in this point from Pride, make a big sky and then just want to put it in the end zone maybe a little too quickly. So maybe this timeout for them will help them settle down, get the D they need, and convert. Let's see how it turns out.
Tinkerly with the disc, finds Wong under. It's a great grab by Wong. He had to lay out for that. Oh, it swings to Douglas. It was almost D'd. And it looks like there was no call on that. It was a clean D there by Columbus Pride.
Looks like we have Stevie Miller picking up.
Oh, and Miller puts it. Oh, and not completed downfield.
That was a great throw on the sideline. Found the cutter the way she wanted to. Looked like she might have lost her footing a little bit going for that grab in the end zone.
It's also a little bit of a hot throw, right? I could see how it was tough to grab, and it looked like it was like a little bit hard to reach for her. So if you're already having to lay out, trying to grab one of those is a little hard. Douglas at the disc, finds Wong under.
Love to see that shot to the end zone though, to get that break.
Yeah. Oh, and a swing that Tagliani slips. Kaplan tries to come down with that, but not quite there.
An important point that we haven't mentioned here tonight is that the players are playing on turf. You know, we see a couple slips back to back. Stevie Miller again marshaling this offense.
They're moving it between the backfield until they can find something downfield. There's nothing open.
Some great fakes. Will it work?
And Linda Morse gets the D there.
Some
Looks
contact
like there's
as she
a
came
foul
through.
call.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what the observer's take is on this one.
Foul called on the play.
From my perspective, it did look like Morse was going to get the D, but her legs did make contact with the Columbus Pride player as she was coming through.
Yeah.
These can be tricky. And now we're down
I didn't
to
realize you were talking to me for a second there.
2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Observer ruling, no foul. New York Gridlock disc.
Okay, no foul by the observer.
Most likely Morse had the best track to get that disc. Was going to make the defensive play.
Douglas with the disc for Gridlock.
more great defense from Columbus Pride right here.
Tangerlini looks downfield to LP, but not quite. Pride with an opportunity here. And it's deed by Stasia Tangerlini.
She wants it. Sprints deep. But the Gridlock, no real need to play fast transition offense right here. Tangerlini comes under.
And puts it.
Oh, wow. Another deep into Cassie
Sees
Wong.
Look at that trust throw right there. Wong has the disc. Not many people downfield, so she resets it back.
Oh, yes.
And LP for the score.
And Hayley, I have to ask you, at a certain point, or at what point does a trust throw become a no throw? You know, when you're putting those throws up to Cassie Wong deep,
Yeah.
you know, Stasi put enough air under it to give Cassie a chance, and at a certain point, you know she's going to come down with those.
Absolutely. That was Brittany Kaplan with the assist to LP with the score.
And Gridlock ending that long point. That point took quite a while. There's only a minute left in this game, and Gridlock came out with it. Pride down 7. It's going to be right now just trying to put some points on the board, find some chemistry. Again, when you don't have that many practices, every point you have in a game like this with competition like this is a chance to improve and gel more as a team as they head further along in the season. And when they look at the film, I'm sure there will be a couple of takeaways from that point. They got the Ds that they wanted. You know, they played really incredible defense on really strong Gridlock cutters and handlers right there. They just couldn't convert and put it in the end zone.
Yeah. Excited to see some players here on the D-line for Gridlock who haven't been out in a bit. Lauren Woods saw her taking off her jacket and running on, ready to go. So let's see if Gridlock can get another break here. Lehman picking up the disc. Looking to center to Gregory.
Oh,
and you have
yes.
Sydney Dobkin with Lauren McKenna with the D there.
And we might be getting into the closing moments of this game, but there's still enough time for a couple more highlights.
Lauren Woods gets the disc under. Looking downfield. Finds Tucker up the line. Downfield, finds Hare. Nikki Hare dumps it back, but looks like, did the defense get a hand on that? I didn't quite see that.
Yeah, it was a big D in the dump space.
It's a great D there.
I think by number 2, Lehman.
It's the end of the quarter.
Wow.
The disc is up. And not completed. New York for the win. Score 17-10.
And New York goes up to 2-0. Columbus Pride drops to 1-1 on the season. That was a really great battle. The second half, again, as we saw in Gridlock's first game, they really ran away with it. They sort of buckled down. Their D-line was getting Ds, and their own line, most importantly, ground out long points. They really found their groove. Even when they weren't getting the conversions they wanted all the time, they would lock down on defense to get the disc back, and I think that made the difference there in the third and fourth quarters.
Absolutely. It was encouraging to see some of the things that have been practiced. Worked out there on the field too. I'm sure Columbus is excited to get in some more practice time. I know, again, talking to the coach beforehand. Excuse me. Talking to the coach beforehand, you know, he said that was one of their challenges. They haven't practiced much together, so they're looking forward to that going on to their season.
And I'm really excited going forward to see some of those Ohio State Fever players. We talked about it at the top of this broadcast, but Columbus Pride tonight was missing all of their Ohio State players, I believe, or most of them for graduation. And some of their top players were missing here tonight in this game in New York. So I'm excited to see what this added practice will do. You add some of these college players that are going to be playing at college nationals in a couple of weeks in the mix, and to see what they can do towards the end of the season.
That's great.
Well, all right. Thank you all for joining us for this game between New York Gridlock and the Columbus Pride game in the Premier Ultimate League. We will see you next time. My name is Julian Robinson.
Yeah, and I'm Hayley Manning, and yeah, let's go Gridlock.
Let's go Gridlock. Let's go Pride. Let's go Premier Ultimate League. Catch you all next time.
Bye.